we got you covered. Haggai Davis going to be in for a cup of tech gumbo in the 8 o'clock hour, and it's only going to be the one segment. So even normally on Saturdays and Sundays you get a full bowl of tech gumbo, and then normally on Thursday mornings you get a cup of tech gumbo. This morning it's a Demitasse cup of tech gumbo. This is what we're rolling with here.
A shot.
That's
a literal shot.
You got to stick with the cup though.
Yeah,
a little Demitasse glass. Little credit the wife for that one. She came up with that joke. Broadcasting live from the 180 Pro Studios. We're starting off at 72 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge. Yes, we got Haggai in the 8 o'clock hour. This hour, we're going to talk with Jim Ryan from ABC News. Everyone's about to hit the road for Memorial Day weekend, and apparently complaining about gas prices is all we do because we're going anyway. We'll talk with Adonica Duggan next hour, talk about education. We'll get Crimestoppers coming your way. Emily Chenevert is going to be in the house. We are ready to rock and roll. Let's get after it. We'll start off with top stories and trending. Coach O is back. Coach O's coming back. I saw this on Twitter last night. Coach O's coming back. Pete Thamel of ESPN said on Twitter that Ed Orgeron's returning to the LSU family for recruiting and defense, assistant recruiting and defense position. Don't know all the full details yet, but yeah, let's go. Let's go Tigers. LSU's environmental science department is using wastewater to track drug trends across the community. The water collected includes samples from homes, businesses, and even stormwater runoff. All flows to a wastewater plant where researchers analyze how much of various drugs are being used daily. One of the more alarming finds in the Dookie water is the presence of nitazines, a synthetic opioid 50 times more powerful than fentanyl. One person was killed in a shooting along Wooddale Boulevard yesterday afternoon. First responders said the call was reported as a shooting near the intersection of Wooddale and Lobwood around 5:30 p.m. Coroner was called out to the scene. Baton Rouge Police Department could not confirm the age of the victim, but did say it was a teenager. Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry signed a bill into law on Monday, expanding the state's definition of first-degree murder, a move in response to a deadly mass shooting at the Mall of Louisiana back in April. The act, initially written by State Representative Jeff Wiley, makes it so that first-degree murder now includes murders committed while the offender is released on bail, on probation, or under parole supervision, and when an offender uses a gun while being prohibited by law from having a gun. High school graduation ceremonies resumed at the F.G. Clark Activity Center following a fight and gun arrest on Monday. Broadmoor High and Glen Oaks High graduations were the first ceremonies held there Wednesday since a group of people started fighting during Estruma High's graduation on Monday. According to Baton Rouge Police, 18-year-old Alan Applewhite was involved in the fight. BRPD said he left the ceremony, tried to return with a gun and a large magazine. Officers stopped and arrested Applewhite before he made it back inside.
Well, it's an end of an era. CBS Radio News shuts down tomorrow night. They will officially sign off at 11 p.m. our time on the 22nd.
So working on something right now for tomorrow's afternoon drive. Probably shouldn't tease it until I know we have it done. But we're working on something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are we going to dig up nostalgia?
So, yes. No, we're not going to. CBS is.
Okay.
But we're not a CBS affiliate. But
still,
we used to be. We were a CBS affiliate for the first roughly decade we were on the air. But better alignment with our local news partner, better alignment with ESPN. You know, it's just we moved over to ABC a number of years ago. But we were a CBS affiliate for years. And before we were a CBS affiliate, WJBO was a CBS affiliate before they moved over to Fox News.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
And regardless, it's still radio. And when
it's the home of Edward R. Murrow and Walter Cronkite was CBS News Radio.
Yep.
I mean, it was like, it's worth acknowledging a 99-year run.
Man, that's incredible. Well, all right. Speaking of CBS and endings, tonight will be Stephen Colbert's last show as well. Wow.
Oh,
I know.
After the run that Letterman had, Colbert kind of just fizzled.
I know. And I'll be honest. I was a letter because we always watched it. My mom stayed up late. I stayed up late, later than I should have. And we were a Letterman household. And so when he retired and signed off, I'm like, I don't know about this Colbert dude. And he kind of let me down.
Well, and he is a genuinely funny person. But he has been so wrapped up in the political that being important is more important than being funny.
Right.
And it just, at a certain point, you're like, yeah, I'm done here.
And I go back to some of his like shorts on TikTok. He is funny. When he can let his humor out, he's funny. It's just, yeah.
Yeah, genuinely funny person.
How would you like to have a class with Professor Shaq? Shaquille O'Neal said on Inside the NBA that he is close to teaching a class on mentorship at his alma mater.
Awesome.
That's fun.
Yeah, I would love that.
You know, okay, back when I was in college, sometimes we would enroll in a class and we never knew who we were going to get as a teacher. It was blank.
Yeah.
And so imagine if you're a student and it's blank, and that's the, just Shaq walks in and he's like, yeah, I'm your teacher.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
I know.
Pretty cool.
I know.
And it would be the most Shaq thing ever to do.
Right.
I don't think he could stay in one place long enough to be able to do that, though.
To maybe have a 2 or 3 or 4 year run with this one class that he teaches.
Right. So, well, no, to have a full semester where you're showing up every day or 3 days a week.
I think he could. I just don't think that he could do it like 2 or 3 years.
I don't know.
He's got
Inside the NBA. He's got a million different endorsement deals. He's a businessman that takes them all over the world. Like, I don't know.
So you are seeing maybe we have a regular professor that teaches this class that he would come in for a day.
Maybe.
In speech.
Well, I don't think it ever comes to fruition personally. I don't think it ever actually happens.
I hope it will.
I think it's something he would want to do. I don't think it's something he's capable of doing right now. Time wouldn't allow it.
Slow down, my man.
He's one of the best around, though.
He is.
Okay. Is Shaq more famous than Donald Trump?
I would say so. Because of all the endorsements he does, everything he has his hands on. He always pops up at different locations. He'll pop up.
Donald Trump's the leader of the free world.
I know, but it's Shaq.
So more popular, probably. More popular, more loved.
Probably.
Because half the country, half the world is going to hate Donald Trump. But is Shaq more popular than Donald Trump?
I'm gonna go with Trump.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's close though, isn't it?
It's a neck and neck.
Yeah.
Because it's Shaq. I mean, you can go to China. Somebody in China is gonna know who Shaq is.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. You just anywhere. So you go to Mongolia, there's gonna be somebody who knows who Shaq is. You can go to the middle of the Sahara, and they're gonna know who Shaq
Antarctica.
is. Well, there's nobody there, but
they have that little
little aliens that have their base underneath Antarctica know who Shaq is.
Right.
So, all right, we're at 6:13 at Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Taking a quick break. When we come back, LSU baseball gave it a run, come up a little short. We'll break it down for you next. Before we take our break, I want to remind you about Landmark Bank. LandmarkBankLA.com is the website. Founded in 1897 as a community bank, and if they're in your community, they're more popular than Shaq because you have a banker when you have Landmark Bank. You have someone you can shake hands with, someone someone that you can sit down and talk with to map out your future. Whether you're talking about borrowing, whether you're talking about investing, whether you're talking about saving for retirement, where's your future headed? Well, it helps out to have a banker. And small business owners, I don't even need to tell you. If you made it through COVID, if you made it through that PPP process, a smaller bank, a community bank is going to have your back. Learn more at landmarkbankla.com. All right. I did a poor job on your rundown. This should say LSU baseball here with final out.
Okay. I figured that's so. Do you need LRN?
Yeah. Okay. 805 should not say Haggai. It should say Emily Chenevert. Haggai's being pushed down to 8:15.
I got her, luckily, because I was on your Twitter.
Okay. And you got the Roos Arena cuts.
I do. We're doing 3459. Okay. Jim was tall enough.
Yeah.
What are we doing at 6:25? Do you need cuts for that? Oh, that's going to be Bruce. Well, no, Bruce is at 6:35.
Yeah. A 625 cuts 10, 11, and 12 from LRN.
Okay. What cuts do you need for sports besides
Final cut.
Okay.
So,
Debbie wants to talk all about Coach O. Coach Hargis.
what about him?
People are just pumped up. She just wants to talk about him. You should do the whole segment of sports. Talking about it in his accent. Is Mercy done? Because EBR ended yesterday.
Mercy's done tomorrow.
Okay. We go all the way until next Friday. All the way. It's so done.
.617 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. It is sports time, and well, not many more sports being played locally. LSU baseball season came to a close last night. Here's how it ended.
Sanders again. Payoff pitch. Ground ball. Gets by Sanders. Going to be picked up by the shortstop, McCrane. He will throw to first, and the Tigers' run here in Hoover comes to an end. And the season for the defending national champions is over. Final tonight, Auburn 3, LSU 1. Plenty of fight in these Tigers who had their backs against the wall coming into the SEC tournament. They battle all the way down to the final out, but the number 6 seed Auburn moving on. They'll take on Texas A&M coming up on Friday in the second day of quarterfinals. The season is over. Auburn 3, LSU 1 from Hoover in the SEC.
Chris Blair on the LSU Sports Radio Network as his season comes to a close as well. Really couldn't have asked for much more from the pitching staff. You had Case and Evans get the loss. He went 4 2/3 innings. Ethan Plog comes in to give you a third of an inning. And then Zach Cowan went 3 more innings. Evans gave up 2 runs. Cowan gave up 1. Evans only gave up 4 hits on the night. I mean, your pitching did a good job. Your bats just went silent against a very, very good Auburn team who probably, if I'm guessing, Auburn's likely going to get a national seed as they're making their way into postseason play. So Auburn 3, LSU 1, they move on. Auburn will move on to take on Texas A&M tomorrow in Hoover, Alabama. Meanwhile, speaking of Alabama, that's where LSU softball is. Tomorrow evening, 6 p.m. is your first pitch. 5:45 is when pregame starts. Patrick Wright will be on the call on the LSU Sports Radio Network right here for LSU versus Alabama in a best 2 out of 3 series. You got tomorrow at 6, Saturday at 2, and then you TBA on Sunday if the game is needed. Right now it's 6:20 at Talk 107.3 FM. Here's the Fox Business Report. All right, Emily's going to be on the phone. Our hotline's still giving us fits, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, this one's me. All right, let's head on back to that traffic center, see what we got going on our streets this morning. It's going to start to get a little bit lighter as schools are hitting summertime, so you can expect a little bit less volume in the near future. Not so much the case this morning, though, as I-12 westbound out by Range Avenue, you got your normal congestion out that way. Not really slowing you down, just got a lot of buddies out on the road. After the Amite River, it picks right back up. You're smooth sailing all the way to the 10-12 merge. I-10 westbound coming in from Ascension Parish. You're gold. You're looking good right there. The whole way into town. Meanwhile, 10 eastbound coming back across from West Baton Rouge looks good. Well, hang on now. This just popped up here, and I'm not seeing it on the map, but I am seeing it on the big board. It does look like there is some congestion on 10 West from the Perkins Road exit up to about Dalrymple. Which there's, a lot of construction going on right there. So that's not unusual. But like I said, it's not showing on the map, but it is showing on the board. So I'll just pass the message along. We've also got an accident that's been moved off the roadway, Highland and West Roosevelt. That's your look at traffic from the Talk 107.3 Traffic Center. .624 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. The our news partners at Louisiana Radio Network. Shout out to them for the audio that's coming up here. Senator Bill Cassidy is not quite done in Washington D.C. He is a lame duck senator. He will not be the senator after you have a swearing in of. We got Julia Letlow running against John Fleming, and Letlow has a ginormous lead. And then you've got two Democrats running as well. I think most experts would agree that on the whoever wins that Republican primary, likely going to take it home to replace Cassidy. But that doesn't mean that Senator Cassidy's done in Washington, D.C. One of the things that he's been working on and will continue to do so while he is still our senator, is fixing Social Security. Cut 10, please.
Social Security is going insolvent. When that happens in 6 years or 7 years, there'll be, by law, a 25% cut in the benefits people are receiving.
This is something that has been a passion of his for some time, something he has worked on for some time. And quite honestly, this is one of the reasons why I was surprised by the numbers as they came out. Why that 25% number, the votes that he drew, that it felt low to me. I really thought he was going to be around 31, 32. Because, yes, I completely understood the vote to impeach and convict the president. Completely understand the vitriol and anger pushed his way for that. But the grassroots campaigning that he did and the way he uses legislation to serve people in Louisiana. It's not always right-wing, conservative. It is always in a way that serves us. And that's what he's been working on with Social Security. I thought that would have a bigger impact, amongst, if nothing else, the 50 plus. Those of us who are like, I'm turning 50 this year. Those of us who see the future and think, my goodness gracious, I'm never going to see a dime of my Social Security. Little items like that, I thought would piecemeal together a few more votes here and there. He's also a medical doctor. He worked at the Earl K. Long way back in the day, So one of the things he's working on right now, healthcare legislation. He's working on some healthcare legislation in the time that he has left. Cut 11, please.
I would really like to help make healthcare more affordable, both the cost of healthcare and the cost of health insurance. I'd really like to accomplish that.
And a bill aimed at holding China accountable for polluting the United States. Cut 12.
Would punish China for not enforcing environmental laws, which takes jobs away from the United States, ships them to China, but their pollution comes back over here. They use the money to build up their military. It's the worst of all worlds.
Cassidy had said some of the other legislation he wants to get to includes a plan to rebuild the coastline in a way that pays for itself, and flood insurance reform as well. The NFIP, that's got to go. It's got to be revamped. But there's stuff that's going to have to be passed off to the next person to hold that seat, because the business of government is never quite done. So he's going to ride out the string, and it's a long string to ride out, because he's done in May. Like his future is sealed in mid-May. He's not done on the job until the end of the year, swearing in what is probably the second or third of next year when the senators get sworn in, senators and House get sworn in. We got a long time to go here. And one of the running questions, and I want your feedback as well, over on our Facebook Live feed. One of the running questions, I asked this of Jeff Carrera earlier in the week. Do you think he is going to be spiteful? Do you think Bill Cassidy's Senate swan song, for a little alliteration, will be the personal spite tour, or will he continue to vote his heart the way he always has? And notice I said he's not towing the Republican line. I'm not asking about that. I'm saying, will he continue to vote his heart, or will his motive be to just get back at Trump? Let me know over on Facebook Live. We'd love to have a little conversation as we get towards news here at the bottom of the hour. I've been digging through some audio because I want to do a little retrospective on how things played out the way they did, because it is worth noting that there was time and place as all these things happened, as all these things transpired. The Stop the Steal rally, where on January 6th, the votes to impeach, the way we went through COVID, everybody lost their minds during COVID. And as a medical doctor, Cassidy needing to sign off on things that as a medical doctor, he would have never experienced in his practice. Well, I want to put together all of it, because the way the events transpired, I think it tells a more full story. We got news coming up in just a minute. I need to tell you about the folks over at Neurojust. Neurojust.com is their website. Neurojust. I spell it out so you can make sure you find your homepage for Neurojust.com. In fact, when you get to that homepage, you'll find their phone number, 225-330-7382. If you're battling with anxiety or depression, Neurojust is a great outlet for you. Now, if you're on some antidepressants and you like them, work with them. Yes. If you sit down with a therapist every so often and that works for you, work with it. Absolutely. But if the treatment you've sought is not working for you, give NeuroJust a look. They specialize in transcranial magnetic stimulation. Results are around 85%. They help you make sure insurance picks up the tab. Learn more at neurojust.com. All right. Emily's going to be over the phone. She's got a sick baby. Yeah. Oh, and I need to run up the stairs real quick to go put down on the. Hey, good morning, Christy. Welcome in, boo. We've got Raging Cajun for Foodie Friday in mid-June, and it's far enough out to where I don't want to forget it. Moon's gonna be in studio next Wednesday.
Who?
Moon.
Okay. Yep, I saw it. Kate sent the.
Oh, okay. I'll be on my way home from New Orleans, so I won't be here for it.
Oh, okay. So he's doing the whole show.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, he's not doing my show. He's doing his show here. I'll be coming home from New Orleans. I'll be doing my show in New Orleans from the Teacher Leader Summit. Saw the weirdest thing yesterday when I went to state capitol. So I parked along the river, the parking lot by the railroad tracks on the levee or whatever. The car I parked next to, there's a pair of pants and a pair of work boots.
Yes, I saw that. Did you see what that was me on call? I went gross.
Oh, okay, yeah. But like just pants. And there's nobody around, there's nobody in the car. Pants and boots just there.
So some man was running around downtown in a t-shirt
with no pants.
No shoes either, barefoot.
Right. I mean, unless he had, shoes with him or pants, a change.
Right. Did he go for a jog and maybe put running shoes on and like?
No clue. No clue. And maybe those were his work clothes and
right.
Didn't want to run in long pants. Yeah. Like, was he prepared for it? It's all about whether or not he was prepared for it. I don't know. Meh. 636 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Oh, my phone's dying. Trying to utilize it during the show. It's becoming less and less
time for a new phone, Brian.
Oh, it's long since overdue for a new phone.
What version are you on? The iPhone? Are you like iPhone? If you're in single digit iPhone, it's time.
I think I'm 12 or 13.
I bet you if you go to battery health, you are below 80%. And they say once you get below 80, it's time for a new phone.
But it's not the power that's got me problematic right now. It's the functionality.
Yeah, you got to have that.
Yeah. Well, I was trying to open up the Facebook feed throughout the break because I asked for interaction on Facebook and then bailed on them. So
people are just talking about Coach O and how they're excited.
It's really not going to matter what we talk about on the show today. We're going to talk about Wade Roos was at the press club on Monday, and people are going to be excited about Coach O.
Right.
We talk about Jeff Landry went to Greenland this week, and people are going to be talking about Coach O. Well, he did, though. Jeff Landry made a trip to Greenland.
He did.
And I don't know how to pronounce the city where he landed.
Yeah, because
it's spelled N-U-U-K. N-U-U-K, which means
don't ask me.
Which means at some point Jeff Landry had to ask his scheduler, what are we doing this week? And his scheduler had to say, you're going to nuke Greenland.
Nuke. I would say nuke.
Yes, that's what I just said. All right. Which, by the way, still not a whole lot of clarity on what the mission is there. They are they like their autonomy, even though they're controlled. They're a Danish state, but they like their autonomy. That's a weird dichotomy. Is they're a state for someone else, but claim autonomy. Okay. Anyway, nobody's gonna be talking about that because of Ed Ogeron. Nobody's gonna be talking about what's going on in the legislative session. Is there this weekend? They're gonna have the long weekend for Memorial Day and then back at it strong for that home stretch, which I'm looking forward to. Which, by the way, if you track any legislation at all, if your legislation isn't to the other side of the building yet, more than likely it ain't happening. If the bills you've been watching haven't made it across the hall or across from the House side to the Senate, more than likely it ain't happening. So, but we'll be dialed in all the way up until the end of the session, which is June 1st, which is the beginning of hurricane season. Gross. Moving back over to LSU's campus, though, Wade Roos was the president. He is the president of LSU. He was the guest of the Baton Rouge Press Club on Monday. We've been kind of unpacking a lot of what he's had to say over the course of the week. And I wanted to take a look at the arena because that's going to be one of the bigger projects we see around town. We talked about Plan Baton Rouge Phase 3 back on Tuesday. Eric Dexter from the Baton Rouge Area Foundation was in here. Great conversation about what impacts that's going to have downtown. But if we're being honest, a new LSU arena is going to be a catalyst for so many other things. Like, in order for all of it to work, one of the bigger pieces that has to be there is that LSU arena. Wade Roos was asked about just kind of the general question was, what's the latest on the arena? But he kind of redirected it to say, we have an economic development district built out and tax dollars are already being sent to where they need to go. Cut 3, please.
I wouldn't characterize those as the arena taxes, but there is an economic development district that is a much broader economic development district and an athletic district. Those taxes are being collected. To be completely transparent, that was a good question for us about a month ago because we had no idea what was at. And Brandy, our CFO, started really working hard to try to figure out what's going on and where it's at. We have an account in place. We're setting up all of the structures. I had to actually sign on as the EDD president and give them my driver's license and everything else as the fiduciary of that account. So there is money in that account. Nothing has been spent yet. Where it's going to be spent kind of depends on if we end up getting an arena or not. As you know, the EDD has some earmarks in terms of structural issues that it needs to be spent on. You can imagine if you drive our campus and see some of the potholes on our campus and curve concrete that is broken, that we have a lot of places to spend them, but we're going to put a real strategy in order to try to prioritize where that needs to be done and where it needs to be spent. But we finally do have it in place. We have an account in place. This is like breaking news. This is like this week. It was all put in place. So we do have it in place. Brandy Roberts, our CFO, Dr. Roberts, is doing an amazing job. She's got her hands around it. And we're going to put a priority list together in terms of how that money is going to be spent.
I did hear him say if in there, by the way. I heard if we get an arena in there. Not when, but I did hear an if. And then he pivoted over to talk about potholes, which, yes, it's an overall economic development district. I would worry, if I'm Dr. Roos, I'm worried a lot less about potholes and a lot more about how Nicholson and Burbank floods every time you think about rain. Because that's roughly where the arena is going. And that's going to be more than problematic. But getting back around to it, you got the Economic Development District tax dollars. We're moving to cut 9 next, Breland. You get the Economic Development District tax dollars. What about who's picking up the tab as far as we know Orlando Lake's pledging a lot of money over here to have their name on it, and their partnership continues to grow, not just at LSU, but throughout the city. But who else is picking up the tab on the arena? Here's Wade Roos.
Right. The particulars, that's what I was saying earlier. The particulars that really need to be worked out. They're not worked out. The idea that it was going to not cost anything, I don't think is true. And we have acts to really quantify that data to make sure we're moving in what's in the best interest for the state and LSU. And we're not going to sacrifice that for a deal that we don't think is perfect. So the idea that there's going to have an injection of capital, whether that comes from economic development, whether that comes from, or it doesn't come in at all, then we don't need the arena in my mind. So it has to be an economically beneficial problem to solve for that benefits Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and LSU. So we don't have the particulars on those numbers, so it's hard to say what that actually looks like.
More ambiguity on whether or not this thing's even going to happen. He was also asked, we're going to go back up to cut 4 next, talking about the arena itself and the demand for it. We've heard a lot of plans about this. We've been on the talking end of this, is, dreams turn into plans and whatnot. One of the questions he was asked is this thing even a good investment? Cut 4.
Yeah, I will tell you, the arena when I got here was a little different than what it turns out to be now. What we're trying to do is say, the economic development and piece that would go into that arena is going to be over $1 billion of economic development in terms of some of the tax that could be generated in there. We think as it all gets developed out, there's still a lot of unknowns. We're still looking for funding sources. I will tell you that we have no interest in a substitution effect of taking away from the academic side of the house. But if the state understands the the economic development that come with that, and we're more than willing to put up the property as long as it benefits the stakeholders of LSU. In other words, as long as the EDD, we're sitting on top of the EDD, we can control what that district might look like. I can imagine a world in my mind where our students have a better experience in an economic development district that's located right on our campus, and we're not going all over the place to try to have a good time. And if we could have that, if we can bring that and increase our experience for our students, we would certainly be for it.
Squeeze in one more before we get to break here. And that is, what is the biggest challenge towards by the way, you heard in that answer, the arena was a lot more of a go and a lot less of an if. And one more from Wade Roos. Talk about the biggest challenge towards getting a new arena.
So money, and again, there will be money in there that I think when it was first put out there, the concept might have been that we could get this arena, we just put up property and we get a lot of benefits from it. We're still trying to figure out what are the actual dollars needed to get that done and make sure that it doesn't come from. There can't be a substitution effect from our academic side of the house. The money would have to be injected into the system from the state or so on.
So my big takeaway from the whole thing was I'm not looking for this thing in the super near future, maybe a little bit further down the road than we were originally thinking. By the way, big shout out to Fred Rayford. I mentioned flooding on Nicholson. He has already let me know that the city of Baton Rouge has submitted for a grant from the state to fix the flooding issues at Burbank and Nicholson. So always appreciate that, Fred. Thank you for the information. Quick break. Jim Ryan's next. I'm trying to decide if I want to go back to the Wade Roos thing one more time tomorrow. Because it's Memorial Day weekend. Nobody's doing shit. So, right. I got Scott Davis in the can. He wrote a book. I'm going to have Scotty Drake in the can after today. Well, he's big on the motorcycle safety. Yes, and it's so it's Michelle. In fact, I need to get back with him.
We have the Jambalaya Fest this weekend, and Eagle has a remote, and so does Tiger. If you want to get the folks on the phone for that.
Oh. If you no, actually, you know what? I think we're going to be full here because 8 o'clock hours can be all Rocco. So that hour's done. We got Adam Knapp, Will Green, and forget the third person coming on for a segment at 7:15. There's a big announcement being made later on today. That I obviously can't say anything about right now. And so he'll be on 7:15 tomorrow to recap that announcement today. So we're looking at the 7:35 segment, the 6:25 segment, and that's it. So
only if you needed them, because Derek could probably get you a contact if we had to have somebody.
Yeah. What's his name? Wade, something. Yeah. Oh. Oh. I almost forgot to email ABC back saying we didn't get Jim off the hotline and on the regular line.
Talk 107.3. Hi, Jim. Good morning. Yes, we're on break right now. Give us 30 seconds to a minute, and Brian's going to pick up on his end, okay? Okay.
Oh, it's funny.
Turn it, please.
So he is on the hotline.
Huh?
He is in on the hotline. Okay.
I guess it depends on what day it is.
Do I?
I guess it depends on what day it is.
Yeah, it's just so hit or miss. 652 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. We are on the eve of Memorial Day weekend. In fact, for a lot of folks, yesterday was their last day of work, making the most of the weekend, turning the 3 days into a full-on vacation. Look, you know what gas prices are like every time you pull into the pump, and it is it stings. And you know what airfare is like right now as well. But it's not stopping folks from getting out there. Joining us now, ABC News correspondent Jim Ryan's on with us. How are you, sir?
Morning, Brian. Yeah, really, it flies in the face of reason. Gas prices historically high.
Yeah.
Prices around where you are in Baton Rouge, $4 per gallon on average. Still, that's lower than it is. The national average now is $4.56 a gallon. You know, dramatically higher than it was a year ago. And yet, yeah, people are still getting out there. They are still traveling in huge numbers. I mean, the expectation is that something like 45 million people will be traveling today, 39 million by car, and those paying airfares will be flying today. In fact, today is expected to be the busiest day, Brian, of the entire weekend, the Memorial Day weekend at the airports.
Yeah, which airfare is a whole different thing right now because, yeah, you've got your price increases there, but it's also been there's so much influx with the with the airline industry. That I was surprised to see that the numbers were where they were on that front.
Well, I think the airlines were surprised too. I think there was some expectation that people would kind of balk at paying those airfares and decide, to stay home or maybe to drive somewhere this Memorial Day weekend instead. But yeah, normally and always more people are going to be on the road than in the air. But still, like 3.3 million people will decide to fly. Then, yeah, today they're the ones making the great escape for a 4-day weekend.
We got Jim Ryan on with us from CBS News. Jim, we know folks are traveling. Do we know where they're traveling?
Yes. By the way, it's ABC News.
What did I say?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just did a news story about CBS bagging it. I'm sorry. Yeah. I just got done doing that. That's my bad.
I got a lot of friends over there, and I really feel bad for them. But
same.
Yeah. Anyway, top destinations: Orlando. That's always a big one for the parks out there. Seattle is in second place. New York City, Las Vegas, Miami, and San Francisco, according to AAA. You want to go internationally, Brian?
Sure.
The top cities are Rome, Vancouver, which I mean is hardly foreign, but Paris and London. Those are the top international destinations this Memorial Day weekend.
I don't know that I'd put Rome, Paris, or London in the 3 to 4 day weekend category, Jim. I mean, that feels like you're doing that. Do it, for crying out. Well, maybe some people are just starting their summer vacation super early.
Well, I think you're right. Yeah. And today, Memorial Day does mark the beginning of the summer travel season, summer vacation season. So sure, I suspect people may be doing that. They're using Memorial Day as kind of an excuse to head overseas for a little while.
Do we have a side-by-side comparison from last year's numbers? I know AAA does this every year. Wallet Hub does it every year as well. But do we have a side-by-side to know that, like, this is, we know it's a big number, but is it a bigger number?
It is. And in fact, it's the highest Memorial Day weekend travel ever
Wow.
So, I mean, it's shocking that that's happening. I mean, I sort of expected numbers about where they were last year, maybe a little bit lower because of inflation and all the rest of it that's playing into it. But no. And I mean, if you look at gas prices, current average $4 nationally, $4 and change.
Mhm.
A year ago, it was $2.71. So $1.30 more per gasoline and per gallon of gasoline, and people are still willing to pay it.
Unbelievable stuff. Is there any insight into, and I mean, you listed the hot destinations, but is there any insight into, on average, will people be traveling less of a distance? Like, let's say we're in Louisiana right now. If instead of going to Florida, we would go to Gulf Shores, Alabama instead, are we trimming down the trip?
Well, no, I haven't seen statistics about that, and probably we won't have those until after the holiday's over, when surveys are done to see, okay, where did you actually decide to go? Did you decide to hop in the car and drive to Orlando, or did you just take a quick trip over to New Orleans?
Right.
That's I think we probably won't know for some time, but I mean, this reason goes out the window on this. So I'm not sure that you could say for sure that people do take shorter trips because of gas prices. So just the other thing is this InRace, which is the transportation data company. They sit there and on the street corners and do surveys of cars passing by. Heaviest congestion will be today and tomorrow between 3 p.m. and 6 p.m. So if you can leave now, 7 o'clock in the morning, get your destination, you're going to do yourself a favor.
You're going to do yourself two favors, because that's also when the rain's supposed to start.
Yeah.
Here locally, that is. He is ABC News' Jim Ryan. Always appreciate the time, man. Thank you so much.
All right. See you,
Talk
Brian.
to you soon. You have a good Memorial Day weekend.
You too.
We're at 6:57 at Talk 107.3 FM. I'm sure the folks at New Orleans and company appreciate that shout out. Didn't even think about that on the back end. Like, if you're getting a little 3-day weekend getaway, Memorial Day weekend would be the perfect weekend to go down to the World War II Museum, would it not? Plus, how hot it's going to be in New Orleans next month and the month after. Go down there now and just, like I said, a little 3-day weekend. I'll be down there on Monday, but not for a holiday, for the Louisiana Department of Education's annual Teacher Leader Summit, which is coming up Tuesday and Wednesday. In fact, let me go ahead and tell you about that right now. Every year at the end of the school year, thousands upon thousands of Louisiana teachers get together at the Morial Convention Center to get better at their jobs at a time where they honestly should be clocking out, at a time where it should be toes in the sand and a drink with an umbrella in it. They are heading to the Morial Convention Center to learn how to get better for next year, improve their craft, as it were. And the results are showing as Louisiana continues to move up the charts when it comes to literacy and numeracy, math and reading and math. They're getting better at it every single year, and we get to go and hang out, tag along for the ride. We'll be doing the show there from Tuesday, from the Morial Convention Center, Tuesday and Wednesday, from the Louisiana Department of Education's Teacher Leader Summit. We get news coming your way in just a little bit. While it is about to be Memorial Day weekend, do want to remind you about the folks over at Mathern's. Mathern's has got you covered downtown on 3rd Street, Nicholson Gateway Shopping Center directly across the street from Tiger Stadium, and Highland Road at Kenilworth. If you're firing up the grill this weekend, Mathern's has got you covered. If you're firing up the grill this weekend, I really recommend the Kenilworth location. The full-on supermarket, of course, but they've got some Louisiana specialty meats as well in there. They've got some specialty cuts for you. It's towards the back end of the store. If you're walking through there, you'll see all the coolers back there that have, the stuffed pork tenderloin and it's just everything with the pre-seasoned Cajun, whatever. They've got you covered at Mathern's. If you download Mathern's Rewards app, you're in cash towards more groceries every time you shop at Mathern's. Quick break for news. We've got hour 2 coming your way next. All right, I finally have Facebook open. Troy says I had the Rapture on my bingo card. Talk about the pants. Yeah.
Yeah, but one pair of pants and one pair of shoes. Like, and everybody else is
Well, but also if you were raptured, the shirt would have been there too. And the draws. Just saying.
Right.
Do your draws get raptured?
And any accessories he was wearing, Apple Watches, yeah.
Right.
The rapture happened. I didn't even think about that.
And that guy's the only guy.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
God's like, that's my one. He's
Yeah.
home.
Tan Dickies and work boots. That's my guy. I feel like an idiot for saying CBS News. No, I know. And and I literally was like talking about CBS News earlier in the show and about to again, but I do want to get permission from our ABC affiliates, whatever.
Will we do something?
Yeah. Well, because I already got permission from CBS. They have an hour-long retrospective, which I think from a radio nerd's perspective is going to be awesome.
We would be remiss if we didn't pay homage to that.
Right.
They may, no, they wouldn't. I was going to say they may actually, they'll definitely cover it on their news.
Yeah.
But
maybe.
I doubt they do any sort of.
Oh.
Americans prioritize travel despite inflation. That's crazy. I'm sitting on my couch.
Oh, I grabbed the wrong papers. There we go. $7:05, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Hour 2 coming your way right now. This hour, we'll speak with Adonica Duggan from the Baton Rouge Alliance for Students. I want to look back on last Saturday's elections with Adonica, talk to get her take, or the Baton Rouge Alliance's take on the St. George vote. Also want to talk a little realignment within the EBR school district, as that has been probably a bigger topic than we've given it credence. But mostly because it's happening at the same time as the legislative session. But we'll pick Adonica's brain about a few things coming up here in about 10 minutes. 7:35, Lieutenant Don Coppola is coming by. We got Crimestoppers coming your way, seeing if we can't catch some bad guys. Right now, though, you know how we start off the second hour, top stories and trending. Number 5, you know what I might have missed? Reminded you that we are broadcasting live from the 180 Pro studio. It's the time for your IT to do a 180. Visit 180pros.com. More on that coming up in just a little bit. Number 5, let's see, where are we starting off? Oh, here we go. Coach O is coming back. Pete Thamel of ESPN said on Twitter, Ed Ogeron is returning to the LSU family as an assistant and recruiting and defense. Don't know a whole lot of the details yet, but I'm the first out in front to say that guy brought us the greatest season that we've ever known, and he is an absolute superstar on the recruiting front. So, yeah, let's go, Coach O. LSU's Environmental Science Department is using wastewater to track drug trends across the community. The water collected includes samples from homes, businesses, and even stormwater runoff. All flows to a wastewater plant where researchers analyze the Dookie water and how much of various drugs are being used daily. This isn't, by the way, the first time they delved into this. I remember talking with them about this during COVID. They were able to track how much COVID was in each dorm based off of the wastewater. So this is very telling.
What a job.
Who gets in that line of work?
I know.
Who said, I'm going to sift through Dookie water?
Gosh.
I know. One of the more alarming findings is the presence of nitazines, a synthetic opioid 50 times more powerful than fentanyl.
Oh,
I know. Just when we start to get our heads wrapped around getting the fentanyl crisis squared away, or we see the deaths start to trend down. We see Bill Cassidy pass the Halt Fentanyl Act to keep help us out keeping fentanyl from coming across the border. Now we've got to worry about nitazines. I don't even know what that is.
never even heard of it.
Yeah. Well, we're going to learn. 10 years ago would have said we never heard of fentanyl, right?
Right.
Well, I mean, it was used in a medical setting, but out in the world, All right. Number 3, one person was killed in a shooting along Wooddale Boulevard yesterday afternoon. First responders said the call was reported as a shooting near the intersection of Wooddale and Lobwood around 5:30 p.m. Coroner was called out to the scene. BRPD could not confirm the age of the victim, but did say the victim was a teenager. Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry signed a bill into law earlier this week that expands the definition of first-degree murder. This, of course, is it's a direct reaction to the deadly mass shooting at the Mall of Louisiana back in April. The act by Representative Jeff Wiley makes it so that first-degree murder now includes murders committed while the offender is released on bail, on probation, or under parole supervision, and when an offender uses a gun while being prohibited by law from having said gun. Where are we on the congressional map? We are currently in the House and Governmental Affairs Committee. Today, debate will begin over there. I am certain it's going to look very similar to how it looked when debate was being held on the Senate side. But House and Governmental Affairs Committee, headed up by Bo Boye, who joined us on the show about 2 weeks ago when this whole thing got started, will be taking that on as of today.
It's an end of an era. CBS Radio News shuts it down tomorrow night. They will officially sign off at 11 p.m. our time on the 22nd.
So we're going to have something special to announce about that coming up a little bit later on in the day. If you're watching us on Facebook Live, I kind of already let the cat out of the bag. But it is 99-year era. Gosh. I mean, we're talking about the home of Walter Cronkite, the home of Edward R. Murrow. Good night and good luck. Like we're talking about the pinnacle of where maybe it's a little bit too inside baseball. Maybe I'm just nostalgic about my own medium. I'm a radio nerd, but to me that's a big deal.
It is a big deal.
You think about the last 99 years, the things they covered before there was even television.
Yeah. Oh gosh, the war, World War II,
World War II.
That.
World War II is probably the biggest one.
JFK's assassination.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So JFK's assassination. The big thing was Cronkite on TV, right?
Yep.
Yeah. But you think about like how the information moved at the time, like just so. Yeah.
And radio was way different, but it was not automated how we have it now.
I know.
All right. Speaking of CBS and endings, tonight will be Stephen Colbert's last show as well.
Yeah.
Man.
I know. He used to be funny. Then he got important. Then politics mattered more than the funny. And
I
Yeah.
do see his shorts, and I do see how he is a hysterical guy, and he's a very funny guy.
Can
but
be.
all I see is him just pushing the envelope more.
Well, so back when he was on the Daily Show, he was really, really good. The Steven versus Steven part of that was really, really good. And then when he did the Colbert Report on Comedy Central, that was really, really good.
I got to go back and look at
And
that.
then when he launched in right after David Letterman, that was really, really good. But somewhere along the way with Donald Trump, things turned to where insulting became more important than being genuinely funny. When punching down in your humor, which, by the way, if you're on the left, you hate punching down in humor to begin with. You know, that's offensive. Unless you're making fun of Republicans, then just punch away. But punching down became more important than punching effectively. And it's still in there. He's still a funny guy, but man,
deep down somewhere in there. All right, how would you like to have a class with Professor Shaq? Shaquille O'Neal said on Inside the NBA that he is close to teaching a class on mentorship at his alma mater.
Love that. It's never going to happen, but I love it.
I hope it does. So last hour you were saying you don't know if it's
The
absolutely
guy's
going to
got
happen.
too many demands on his time.
I think he could do a couple of semesters though.
How is okay? So even if it's a Tuesday, Thursday class, he's got to be on Inside the NBA from November to June. So that rules out fall and spring semesters.
You know what? You got a point. Unless he can just be
What you can do? Fly back and forth to teach for an hour and a half a day, and then fly right back out again.
Yeah. Nope, you have a point. So maybe he just is a pop-in guest speaker with the professor.
I don't know
for the class.
I'd love to see it happen. The only thing that exceeds our love for Shaq is Shaq's love for LSU. The over at LSU, the brand, the floor where they have all the photo shoots for the recruits and all the NIL stuff and all the mapping out of like rev share and where to take the program and all the other programs and all that other good stuff. Right at the beginning of the hallway is this quote by Shaquille. I should take a picture of it next. Well, I'm not going to be up there anymore because baseball's over.
Oh, I was going to say, I want to see it.
There's a great quote by Shaquille, and he'll talk about how he owes it to LSU and Baton Rouge to keep coming back because the whole Shaq persona started here.
Aww.
I know. It's really beautiful. Really, really
That's
beautiful.
so heartfelt.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right, we're at 713 Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Adonica Duggan is slated to join us next. We'll talk a little education with the Baton Rouge Alliance for Students.
Hey, yes, ma'am. We'll be coming to you in like 3 minutes, okay?
Nobody touched you.
Right. He just. We're talking about CBS radio, and he's like,
Right. 716 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along as we broadcast live from the 180 Pros studio. Is it time for your IT to do a 180? Visit 180pros.com. What you get with 180 Pros is someone who bases their success off of your success. What you get with 180 Pros is someone who is not going to nickel and dime you for a million different things in your invoice. Simplified billing is a big deal with them because it's all about the relationship. It's all about the partnership. It's not about nickel and diming. Visit 180pros.com to learn more or give them a call, 225-330-2200. I think I'm having lunch with them today. In fact, looking forward to that, checking in, seeing what's new, which is one of the great things about when you have 180 Pros, you have a relationship. They're your IT partner, not your IT provider. Checking in, yeah, we can do that from time to time. It's 180pros.com. Speaking of checking in, how about with the Baton Rouge Alliance for Students? We've got Adonica Duggan on with us. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. We've made it to the end of the year. Graduation
I
season.
know.
We're almost there.
I know. My 8th grader already graduated, so she's she had one foot on her high school campus before 8th grade year even started. And then I've got my 4th graders last day. Actually, you know what? It's technically tomorrow. So but yeah, we're here. We're to summertime. And you know, we have survived. How about on your end?
We have, the real work for school districts largely happens in the summer. So a lot of planning and preparation going on for the start of the next school year.
Mm-hmm.
I know you were talking about educators gathering, and there's just so much that happens in the summer to get ready for kids and families when we start the next school year.
So, yeah, I don't want to go too far down that rabbit hole, Adonica, but I absolutely love the Teacher Leader Summit. It is one of the more inspiring things that I get to be a witness to every year, seeing how motivated our teachers are, seeing how much care and compassion and drive they have to be better at what they do. I know, we could argue and squabble about $2,200 raises and whatnot, but when you see that this is a calling and a vocation more than it is a job or a career, it's hard not to be in their corner.
Absolutely. And that's why talent is such an important part of our platform as an organization,
Yep.
because we think that making an investment in those educators is one of the most important things that school districts can do with their resources. So whether, we get to a raise at the statewide level or not, certainly school districts need to be looking at how they concentrate more of their resources in the classroom.
100%. Talk with Adonica Duggan from the Baton Rouge Alliance for Students. Can we revisit Saturday's election? St. George was looking to put together their own school district. I mean, for 15 years now, they've been trying to put together a school district and came up pretty doggone short.
Yeah, they did. And, I think that there's an opportunity here for us to move past this conversation for a minute. I know that people on both sides have a lot of feelings, and there are a lot of division that happens in the community around these elections. But now that the election's in the rear view for a minute, whether folks on the St. George side decide to regroup and do something different or not, we have to focus on how we're serving every kid in the parish well. Mm-hmm. And right now, East Baton Rouge Parish School Board has a window of opportunity to demonstrate how they're going to serve families in the southern part of the parish and make sure that they have the level of stability and the access to high quality schools that they want.
Well, and I mean, it's neither here nor there, but if I'm not mistaken, the district put up one of its higher grades, getting a C this year. So, kind of a nod to Lamont Cole on that front. Are we moving in the right direction as a parish?
We are, and I think the superintendent's statement that he put out following the St. George vote reflects his focus on keeping students first. We're going to have the divisions that we have in this community. People are going to have different ideas, but as long as the folks who are charged with educating students keep their eyes focused on student outcomes and they are laser focused on what they can be doing, right, at the end of the day, the rest of it comes out in the wash. Yeah,
absolutely. And I don't want the whole conversation to be bogged down on that, because there's so many different conversations to be had with comps to Central or Baker or Zachary. We don't need to walk down that whole path. I just wanted the quick recap on it. And since we're talking about EBR, and speaking of Lamont Cole, let's dive in on realignment a little bit. Realignment 2.0, it's out there. What are we looking at here as far as moving through the realignment?
This is actually relates to how we were talking about putting more resources in the classroom. Yeah. For so long, East Baton Rouge Parish Schools has operated too many facilities. They've not concentrated their resources in effective ways. And about a year ago, maybe a little more than a year ago, the school board and the superintendent took on the task of their first realignment. They closed 9 schools. They reinvested the savings from having 9 less facilities to operate in these foundational learning centers, which they concentrate in those early education grades up to 2nd grade, having 2 teachers in the classroom. And we know how much having a great educator in front of students is related to their impact. And so they concentrated their resources and their savings in having 2 teachers in the classroom. Now, what we're seeing is they are moving to more of those grade bands, and then they're also adjusting school start times in more schools than they did in that first pilot. And so we know the brain science around when students learn best, and we had some of the earliest start times in the country. And so now we're seeing them make some changes to put the needs of students first.
How long does it take to see impact on that, to see return?
With those early literacy and early foundational centers, I think that the outcomes will be improved dramatically, pretty quickly, because every year you're going to see testing gains, and we're starting to see that in the literacy and numeracy rates. The state is doing really well. EBR is doing really well. We're closing some of the achievement gap on some of our high need students and some of our subgroups. So there's a lot to be excited about. Certainly a lot to continue to work on, but there's a lot to be excited about.
Talking about closing schools, Adonica, I want to talk about the physical structures themselves. Moving resources into the classroom is important, but what you leave behind can have effect as well. Tell me a little bit about, some of the issues surrounding having vacant buildings out there.
Yeah, largely where we see some of these school closures is in neighborhoods that are already struggling with economic development.
Yeah.
And so what we need to be doing is figuring out how to maintain the value of these community assets, whether that is the school board having a process for how they work with other partners to redevelop those places, or, and additionally, you're not seeing any savings by just closing a facility. You need to get it off the school board's books in some way. And so I think that we need to be really methodical about what's happening with these schools once they come offline as school sites.
Well, and I'll give you one example, and it's not because of a recent closure. It's because they built further up the road. But the old Broadmoor Middle School at the corner of Goodwood and Sharp, it's got a fence around it now, but it's not just an eyesore. It's an actual blight problem for the Broadmoor subdivision.
Absolutely. And, if you're going to close a school in my neighborhood, I want to know that something's going to go there that's going to be of value to the community. And so having a public input process to redevelop these properties into something, even if it's that we turn it into green space, we need to make sure that we are very quickly moving to the next life of whatever these facilities become.
I take green space all day long right there. And I apologize. I know someone's going to correct me. It's on the Sherwood side of Sharp, not the Broadmoor side of Sharp. So technically, it's not an eyesore in Broadmoor. It's an eyesore in Sherwood Forest. Before I get the corrective email sent my way. Talking with Adonica Duggan from the Baton Rouge Alliance for Students. Keeping with that realignment, one of the things that we've seen is, I apologize, I just spilled coffee on my notes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
One of the things that we've seen is steps that have been taken in the realignment process. We're already, seeing some results out of it. What would be the next steps beyond, what we've seen over 18 months is good, but what's next?
I think you have to build a plan for how you're going to move those facilities back into use.
Mm-hmm.
I think you have to continue this is a continuous cycle. This isn't something that you do one time and you say, okay, we're good.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have to worry about it ever again. You have to continue to reevaluate your facility's footprint. And I think the grade configurations, you have to continue to evaluate where you're seeing the most impact. And I think that you have to use the data to make the decisions that you have to make around how you're concentrating resources, how students are being served, and all of those things.
Let's talk a little bit about accountability. Educational scorecards. Louisiana ranked first among states in reading growth, second in math growth. Is it where we're at right now? Can we still be proud of growth, or do we need to start looking at where the overall number is to say moving up the charts isn't as important as where we are in the charts?
Yeah, I always think absolute performance is really important to keep our eye on. But we should be excited that we are growing towards an absolute performance that is better, right? And so I think that it's a nice time to be in education in Louisiana because we're seeing a lot of the right investments being made.
Mm-hmm.
We are seeing a lot of progress. And but certainly you're right. We have to make sure that we are growing, and not just because everyone else isn't growing rapidly. We have a lot of ground to make up as a state, but there's a lot to be excited about.
Well, and there's also this little caveat that's in all the numbers is the whole post-COVID caveat. We've grown the most since COVID. We've returned to pre-COVID numbers. I want the side-by-side number of where we stack up.
Yeah, I think that, the local data is also really impressive. So we are in the 88th percentile for achievement growth in math and the 80th for reading growth. And so there was a lot of ground to be made up. But we also know that in Louisiana, we didn't see as much of a decline because our kids were back in school more quickly.
So how do we maintain that acceleration? Because like I said, I want side-by-side numbers, but if we're still passing people up, how do we keep passing people up?
You have to continue to invest in what works.
Yeah.
And so I think making sure that you are keeping great educators in the classroom by having a talent package that, values them and compensates them effectively is really important. We have to continue to invest in things like high dosage tutoring that have demonstrated a lot of the progress that we have seen up until this point. You have to continue to double down on the science of reading. I had an opportunity to hear from Dr. Brumley recently, and he was talking about how math is the language of the sciences. So we also can't lose sight of investments in math. Right. And there's a lot that we have to do simultaneously. We have to be able to walk and chew gum. And I think one of the challenges is that when we start to see this progress historically, then everybody's like, cool, we've got education solved. We can move on to one of the numerous other problems that we have to solve as a state. But if we roll back some of those investments that have led to the progress that we are seeing, then we won't continue to see that progress.
So how much of that involves what's going on over the legislature right now, and how much of that are we is there receptive legislators for? Is it are we getting the answers we need from the state capitol?
There's always a tension between the funding that happens at a state level and how resources are allocated at a local level. So whatever the decisions that are made at the Capitol about how you are going to fund education, we certainly think that we shouldn't see a rollback of investment in things like high dosage tutoring. But regardless, at a local level, local school districts have to continue to right-size their budgets and focus their investments on the things that are the most high impact for students. And so more money is always nice. Yeah. We can always see more investment. But how are you allocating the resources that, as a school district, you have control over, and making sure that you're prioritizing the most high impact investments as a school district?
How active is the alliance on that front, or is that even y'all's role?
Well, we certainly look at the budgets. We always say budgets are a statement of values, and so how we're investing resources in the classroom, how we're cutting the waste where we see opportunities to do so is super important. So we take a close look at the budget, certainly on making sure that you're prioritizing things like teacher pay, that you're prioritizing investments in effective strategies.
I'm looking at the clock right now. I wanted to get the change makers and torch because they're both wrapping up. We might have to push those off till the next time we talk. Summertime's no time to take off in education. Summertime's the time to get geared up for next year, and that's exactly what we're going to do. Adonica, Duggan, we always appreciate the time. We'll talk to you soon.
Talk soon. Have a great summer.
You do the same. We have got news, traffic, weather, all coming your way. Don Coppola's in for Crimestoppers coming up after that. Before that, let me remind you about the Baton Rouge Metro Airport. Probably too late to make your Memorial Day weekend plans right now. But if you know what, it's not too late. If you wanted to, I don't know, say take a 3-day weekend in Washington, D.C., fly out tomorrow morning right here from the Baton Rouge Metro Airport, stay a couple days in our nation's capital, come back home on Monday, or take off Monday, or come back home Tuesday, or take off Tuesday, come back home Wednesday. They've got you covered. Or if you wanted to, come back home same day. Don't forget, Delta's built out some direct flights for LSU football. We'll tell you about those in the days to come. Right now, we got to get you to ABC News. I got it on the brain this morning. Bro, I suck.
Well, because we keep talking about it. That's why.
No, I know.
Hey, Don, you ready?
Hey, Don.
Good morning, Don. Hey, did you text Brian? Oh, okay.
He didn't text me. I texted you last week. Huh? You didn't answer. You texted me last week. What about?
He didn't even give you a heart, a thumbs up, nothing.
Not even, usually he gives me a middle finger emoji.
No, I give you a thumbs up emoji.
You hit the wrong button there.
Yeah, right.
That's a nice haircut. Good to see you.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Bro. You texted me on May 13th. Take a call. And the next text was a link to overdose prevention.
Then I text you, have a great day.
I got bad news for you, Hoss.
I think you need a new phone.
I know I need a new phone.
You need a new phone.
But look at that bottom text right there.
The service is bad.
Maybe it was operator error on your end.
Or you ever get somebody you text on and they write back K, like just K.
Yeah.
What happened? It just came through?
Yeah.
You need a new phone.
It just came through right after you started typing on your phone. It came through miraculously. Yeah, you know, I'm sure that was completely separate. Completely separate doing something else. But miraculously, I just got a text from you. This is have a great day.
Isn't that awesome?
I know. I love it.
Hey, where's the little ponchos flag you had? Yeah.
Oh, like what used to be on the table?
Yeah, when I walk in, she's making coffee, and she said that you had the flag. For yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, ha ha.
Here. It's right here, Don.
Oh wait, no shit. And he blows up?
I like it.
Where you got that? I want one. I know. Who the hell gave you that?
Uh-oh. Somebody. I don't know. Don't remember.
That's awesome.
Problem is you hear it on the mics.
Only on the Crimestoppers segment.
Just let it blow for the whole Crimestoppers. Yeah. Did you go do the walkthrough yesterday, Don, with the at the mall with?
No, I did not. I did. I saw about it.
Like that root talker, Donnie. He was one of the victims in the shooting.
Oh, I saw that. I saw
So
that.
you didn't
I didn't
attend.
go. I didn't
Okay.
attend. No. That was good. They did that
I
though.
know.
I thought it was real good. I know it had to be kind of painful and hard for him.
I would have been terrified.
Yeah.
But he probably had a plethora of security.
Oh yeah. The pictures I saw. He
Why
did.
would-
So one of the victims from the mall shooting, Donnie, he was the one that has been in surgery off and on for the past couple of weeks. Finally got released from the hospital.
Yeah.
And all his all the Baton Rouge police, not all,
State,
but,
sheriff's
state,
office.
They
Yeah.
all did a mall walkthrough with Donnie yesterday. But
To
yeah.
recreate the scene, part of the
No, I
investigation,
think just-
or part of like the.
I would just say the healing and get back and
Do you know Billy, Amy?
I do. Yeah.
Okay, so he always works security detail at Texas Club. So I know him well. He's always
Good
he's
guy.
always- and
Super
he's
good guy.
sweet. I love he and his girlfriend Cindy broke up, but sweet as can be. And anyways, he's real close with Donnie. And so
Yeah.
there was one picture where Donnie was waving and he was giving the
He's
yeah.
yeah.
And he was in the picture. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
736 Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Getting you to Crimestoppers in just a quick second. Need to remind you about industrymakes.org. Industrymakes.org, your source for the real deal, your source for information on the industry that employs our neighbors, on the industries up and down the river that builds the products we use on a daily basis. Probably more so than we could ever imagine. Talk about the shoes on your feet, the tires on your car, the Tupperware in your cabinet, the prescription drugs in your medicine cabinet. Everything you've got going on is going to be tied back into industry. And when it comes down to it, every time they turn around, there's a different protest. And you hear a lot of misinformation out there. I'll tell you the biggest one for me, this was the clincher for me. Cancer Alley's a myth. And want to learn more about that? Visit industrymakes.org. Want to see the air quality dashboard to see how we're doing things better than anybody else out there? Industrymakes.org. Once you see those few things, you might want to become an ambassador. They've got the ambassador's toolkit right there at industrymakes.org. Time for Crimestoppers. Let's go. Morning, Don. How are you,
Good morning,
sir?
Brian. How are you?
How are you?
I'm good, and yourself?
Couldn't be better.
Good. I can see. I
Yeah,
can see.
that's-
Fresh cup of coffee.
Fresh cup of coffee, yes. Cup of
What do we
coffee.
even call this thing?
A little waving.
A waving.
We call it
waving.
nothing because people on the radio have
I
no idea
know,
what you're
but if
talking
they
about.
go on our Facebook
They can see
Live,
it on Facebook Live. You can't
Is it
miss it.
visible on Facebook Live?
it
So
sure
you know
is.
the wacky inflatable arm
Yeah.
flailing tube men that you see by a car lot and whatnot. I have a miniature one in the studio, and I don't know why I broke this out. Why did you? Oh, because you asked why the flag was raised. So got him in here. Is it visible on camera?
It is. I'm about to get a video of it.
Okay. Anyway, if you're listening on the radio, you have no clue what we're talking about. Visit our Facebook. We'll put up a little reel of just the little guy over here. He's on battery power right now. When he's plugged in, he's stronger.
He's stronger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you want to buy a used car now, don't you?
I do.
I'm telling you. It works.
Nice.
Yeah. All right, we catch some bad guys today.
We're gonna catch some bad guys, but we're gonna start with another unfortunate life was lost yesterday in the Wooddale Avenue area. A
Yeah.
teenager
Yeah.
shot and killed. I don't have much on this information. I know from reports it was a male victim. Again, senseless act of crime.
Mhm.
And as we speak every week on this, Brian, this is something where a family has lost a loved one,
Correct.
and they're not coming back. And again, not knowing the details of this, you think, is it worth it? Is it worth it? For the one or ones that may be responsible. It's definitely the family has lost someone they loved, and it's really sad. And anyone with information, we're going to recommend you contact Crimestoppers, 344-7867, the P3 Tips app. Whatever information you have, no matter how small you think it is, that may be the missing piece investigators are looking for. But this has got to stop.
Yes, it absolutely does. And unfortunately, we're seeing it continually younger and younger and younger. Now, when you have a teenage victim, how does that affect from an investigative standpoint? Because obviously you want to protect the family. Obviously, we're talking about a child here because it's a teenager. But nonetheless, we're seeing more and more where teenagers are victims and perps as well.
Right. And that is one of the reasons how the Beyond Bars initiative was started through Capital Region Crimestoppers, because we are seeing this younger and younger. And, as you've always heard, I mean, this younger generation is our future. And, well, it needs to stop. Okay. No matter what your differences may be, walk away.
Right.
There's no reason to go to these extreme in taking a life that's so precious, because you only have one, and once that's gone, that's it.
344-STOP is the phone number for Crimestoppers, a P3 Tips app. If you have any photos or videos, which can be unbelievably useful, even if you think it's a bad pick, can be unbelievably useful for investigators. Not just from yesterday, but just talking in general. Don, who are we looking for today?
Well, since you mentioned bad pick, we're going to reference our Facebook page. Investigators from Baton Rouge Police are seeking information involving a hit and run and a pedestrian that occurred on April 30th of this year in the 2300 block of College Drive. The picture of the vehicle is really grainy, but it believes to be a white or silver SUV driven by a white male.
Okay.
And even though the picture is not the best quality,
investigators
believe that someone has information of that vehicle driven by a white male that struck a pedestrian. Now, the pedestrian suffered non-life-threatening injuries, so they will be okay. But any information you have, contact Crimestoppers. And while we're on the same topic, we're investigators with the Sheriff's Office, East Baton Rouge Sheriff's Office, are still looking for information that took the life of Herschel Brown, who was also, when he was struck on a bicycle on Willow Trail Drive.
Okay.
So that investigation is still ongoing. And any information you have, contact Crimestoppers.
So here's the thing. When you look at that grainy pic right there, it's 2300 block College Drive, about 9:30 at night on April 30th. While that picture might be a little bit grainy, or a lot bit grainy, what we could be looking for here is someone who's got another picture from nearby, because while it's grainy in and of itself, if you've got better video, if you've got better pic from either a Ring doorbell or a security system or whatever,
send it in.
Then send it in, and that car becomes a lot more visible with a side-by-side comparison.
Absolutely. Or if you were in the car, if you were in the area, or you saw something, it doesn't matter. We just want the information you have to help investigators get these cases cleared up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Moving on to Ascension Parish. Ascension Parish investigators are looking for David Francois, 34 years old, on charges of domestic abuse, battery, child endangerment. Investigators believe that Francois and a female acquaintance had an argument, which then became physical while in front of a juvenile, and it was also in the house. The female victim had marks on her body, marks on her neck, threatened to call the sheriff's office, and that's when Francois took off. So any information for the whereabouts of David Francois, contact Crimestoppers.
I hate to say it, like a broken record, but every single week we have a domestic abuse violence, and every single week, like without fail.
And Ascension has another one, Brandon Vasquez, 27 years old, wanted on the charges of domestic abuse, battery, strangulation, domestic abuse, battery, child endangerment, and domestic abuse, battery, serious bodily injury. So again, Brian, like you said, like a broken record, and this does not have to be. If you are in a situation and it's going south, keep your hands to yourself and just leave. It's very simple.
Yeah, walk away.
And then you won't have to hear yourself on Talk 107.3. You won't have to see yourself on our website or on our Facebook page. Just walk away. Well,
but what goes along with that, though, Don, is how many times do we see where an incident like this gets reported, and then let's say it, eventually things cool down and they're forgiven, blah, blah, blah. Then they do it again. And then it escalates because the person who's a victim is tired of being a victim. Yes. So, I mean, part of walking away is there's self-preservation in that as well.
Very much, and it saves a lot. Suspect, victim, and you know, if it's happened once, the chances of it happening again,
Right,
are great.
yes.
So don't take that person back. Move on, and that way you don't have to worry about it.
We got Don Coppola in for a couple more minutes doing Crimestoppers, which we do about this time every single week, seeing if we can't catch some bad guys out there. Do we have anybody else on the rundown for today?
So we're looking, Baton Rouge Police, this dates back to June 29th of 2024. Jose Mejia, 37 years old, Hispanic male, wanted on second-degree murder and illegal use of weapons. This occurred in the 1300 block of North Christie Drive back in 2024. There was reports of a female down in a residence. That female was deceased in that residence. Investigators believe that Mejia is responsible for that. So this is another unsolved homicide.
Wow. Okay.
Along with the others that we have.
Yeah.
So this is just one that investigators wanted, us to put out there as well, along with the others. So if it's not information you have on this, any other of our unsolved homicides, pick up the phone, contact Crimestoppers 344-7867. And again, you cannot bring these family members back, but let's give some closure to these families in locating the one or ones that may be responsible for their loved ones' death.
344-STOP is the phone number, 344-STOP, or downloading the P3 Tips app. I recommend checking out the Facebook page on a pretty regular basis because it's updated regularly, or if you want to check out Crimestoppers' website.
Exactly, and we appreciate it, Brian.
Always. The website's really thorough, really great.
It really
resource.
is. Crimestoppers 225.com.
Photos on top of photos.
On top of photos. Yeah. You can, if you have a specific name of a fugitive, you can. There's a search bar, but just starting at the top and scrolling down, you never know who you may recognize. It may be a friend, it may be a family member,
maybe somebody you saw online at the grocery store. I mean, it may be somebody you
at the car lot
pumping gas next to you. Something. It just
pick up the phone, and you will remain anonymous. And we don't want any information. We just want the information you have, no personal information.
Right.
So we can get you paid if your information pans out.
And there is no piece of the puzzle that is too small.
Nope.
He is Don Coppola. We do Crimestoppers about this time every single week. We got Your Money Now coming your way right now. On the back end of Your Money Now, it'll be time for This Day in History. Yeah, we had to move This Day in History up because State Representative Emily Chenevert is going to join us. Talk a little bit about lawsuit abuse. What's been the latest on legal reform in the state capitol? Well, rough day in the Senate the other day, or in Jude A, I should say. We'll talk about that coming up to start off the 8 o'clock hour. Right now, here is Your Money Now. It's 7:50. See, if we hadn't ended on two domestics and a homicide, I was going to report a missing person, Don.
Who's that?
There's somebody who just disappeared without their pants or shoes. This was at the state capitol. That was at the state capitol yesterday.
Oh, Lord.
I don't know, were they abducted by aliens or were they raptured, or was there just somebody running? I didn't see anybody running around the capitol with no pants on.
Well,
it's a long time since the Edwin Edwards days. But
hey, tell.
Wait, so go. 7:55 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. We got State Representative Emily Chenevert coming up at 8:05. Haggai Davison for a Demitasse cup of Tech Gumbo at 8:15, and Micah Dineese from Coastal Conservation Association at 8:35. Which means right now we've got this day in history.
Back in the year 1881, the American Red Cross was founded.
What?
Yep, way back when.
Right over there off Sherwood Common?
No.
Oh.
The all-in-one American Red Cross nationwide. Yeah.
Okay, just making sure.
Yep. All right, 1904, which I think that we're the only nation still that calls football and the whole soccer debate. But yes, FIFA was founded in Paris, the International Federation of Association of Football. Which I think, do you know that stat offhand? Because you know all things sports. Are we really the only one that says the only nation still that refers to when we say football, we think the actual throwing with the hands, but everywhere else all over the world?
Well, yeah, pretty much. I mean,
would say so, yeah.
But we call football, everyone else calls American football.
Correct, yeah. In 1980, The Empire Strikes Back, it debuted.
Really?
Yeah. The highest grossing film of the year in the U.S. And then after that, all for Christmas, everybody got Star Wars toys. It just exploded.
I had a Millennium Falcon. Would love to know what happened to that. Yeah, would love to know what happened to that.
I think Scott had one too, my husband.
Do you like Dobesh cake?
I do. I do.
All right.
I like Mary Chantilly better, but
1970. This day in 1970, Beulah Ladner opened a bakery on Metairie Road that would make Dobesh cakes synonymous with New Orleans.
Ooh.
She made some tweaks. There was an original Hungarian recipe, and she made some tweaks to the recipe that made the Dobesh thrive to this day.
Man.
Her bakery was open until 1981.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
How about that little This Day in History nugget? Beulah Ladner. We owe it all to her.
In 2003, the final original Oldsmobile rolled off the assembly line, ending a 106-year run.
Okay.
I think did you have an Oldsmobile?
I don't think so. I had a Buick.
My mom had one, and that thing ran for,
Buick Skylark.
Buick was a good car back in its day. Back in its day, it was a good car.
Yep.
In 2017, Ringling Bro and Barnum and Bailey Circus held its final performance after 146 years.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
End of an era.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Birthdays. What you got?
I got Al Franken and Jeffrey Dahmer.
I have Notorious B.I.G.
Hey now, I'll take that.
Josh Allen from the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
Cody Johnson, our ACM Entertainer of the Year this past Sunday. Huge country artist. He has a birthday this year.
Cody Johnson?
Yeah, Cody Johnson.
Didn't he perform somewhere recently?
Not this year. Oh, yes. He performed at Hondo Rodeo.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah,
in New Orleans.
He packed the house.
Yes, he did.
Yeah. Big time.
Notable deaths?
I never even clicked on the page today.
I really don't. So we're going to skip it because I don't have any that stand out.
That's fine.
Let's see. National Day today. It would help if I would pull it up, right?
Sure.
Let's see. National Strawberries and Cream Day.
Sure, why not? We can roll with that.
But it's also National American Red Cross Founders Day.
That's probably better. Since, you know,
yes.
because this day in 1881, the Red Cross was founded on Sherwood Common.
Sure.
We are coming up on top of the hour, which means we'll check news, we'll check traffic, we'll check weather. State Representative Emily Chenevert joins us next. Most people just say brothers. Ringling Brothers. The Ringling Bros. Like they're hanging out with Ronnie and the Situation from Jersey Shore. Bunch of Chads.
Hanging out.
Probably. Oh, snap. Oh. My Tuesday is so effing packed now. I got the Sail 250 ships are getting in New Orleans right now. So I'm gonna do some sneak preview content when I'm down there. But I've also got to do the Corey Johnson show, and I promised him I'd be in studio.
Back-to-back interviews.
Reading the story yesterday. Cuba has made a big push to go solar.
Hey, good morning. Okay, we'll be coming to you in 2 minutes, okay?
Okay. Can they?
I mean, it's not doing many good for the cars, but they don't have any EVs there. But
Cuba's not that big. Just walk.
exactly. But I mean, to put lights on in the house, they're putting solar panels on the roof.
Okay. Good for them. Knock it out, Cuba. Phew.
So they're killing off twice then.
Okay. It's all caught up. Oh. Why am I so tired? I've slept the last 2 nights. I've slept 4 hours in a row the last 2 nights, which yeah.
And you can go back to bed probably.
Yeah.
That 3 o'clock on the dog. You won't be able to slip. My mom was like that. She just can't. She'll cut herself off and like milk. But coffee.
806 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Hour 3 coming your way right now. Brian here with you, Breland producing, starting off the 8 o'clock hour at 73 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge as we're broadcasting live from the 180 Pros studio. Moved this day in history up to make sure we had room for State Representative Emily Chenevert, who's on the hotline with us right now. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Brian. I'm doing well.
You sound fine. So you were the backstory here is had to push pause for a day to get the voice back together, get the pipes back in line.
It was rough yesterday morning. It was rough a little bit
Was it? See, we should have gotten you on just for the test drive, just to see, so we could have the side-by-side comparison.
I know, right?
I'm like
the normal voice versus the non-normal.
Right.
Voice.
I want to hear rough Emily voice because I'm picturing like Marge Simpson's sister's voice. Like, is that where we are?
Are you okay?
Is that where we were at yesterday?
Okay. I mean, the words weren't coming out very clear.
Right.
Better today. I'm drinking tea as we speak.
Okay.
Right now, so.
That's recommended to be sure. But like, were you sounding like, the 80-year-old woman with the cigarette that's nothing but ash at a truck stop casino sitting? I'm working both slot machines, sweetheart. Is that where you were yesterday?
I mean, it wasn't too bad, but in discussions early morning with my husband, he probably would have agreed it might have been a better day. Today.
Okay.
So
well,
we'll just say that.
You do sound like the normal Emily Chenevert this morning.
Good.
Let's dive in. Boy, Jude is where good ideas go to die, isn't it?
Hey, look, it can be a tough committee, and I've been there obviously a few times, but. Look, I was kind of having some conversations with colleagues the other day, and I said I feel like it puts you through the ringer, but it's a really good practice of what we do there, And I me, I'm kind of a positive person, but I just what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. I think it's never been more true than Jude, So that's how I feel about it.
Well,
but it was a challenge the other day.
Usually, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, but it does kill your bill along the way. Talk to me a little bit about what we saw this week.
Well, so again, you're referring to HB 437.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that and Rep Miller was in committee, and I did not have a bill that day in committee. But I know that it was a good debate on both sides of the issue. And look, Brian, I think for most people, whenever we're talking about legal reform and the issues of what we have in Louisiana, what we face is that. I've only been here, third year of my first term. And so every year we're here, I feel like last year we had a huge conversation, a pack of bills. We had a lot of some things get through. This year, less of that. But the conversation did not cease. And I think, sometimes you have to look at this and say for Rep Mellerin, who does a great job in trying to continue that conversation, as myself and other people, we had, you had Representative Dickerson, you had Representative Bamberg. A lot of our colleagues are still having this conversation, and it's not going to stop. It's just a lot of things are not going to get through every year. And so it's the will of the legislature. And I know it's a challenge to hear that a lot, but you can have one vote, you can have 5 votes, but it's just, we've got to keep the conversation going for the state of the state, for the people. And that's what I always say.
No, absolutely. And when you have 1,700 plus bills that are on the docket for the entire session, not all of them are going to be good ideas, but it's okay to be frustrated when a good idea does come up short. And this one was a good idea for and still is, by the way, for those who are unfamiliar based off of the bill number. 437 involved expert witnesses. So give us the background.
That's right. Yeah, it just amends Louisiana law to prohibit a witness that may have like a pecuniary interest, like a financial interest or some kind of, where the outcome would be very important to them, right? Like a financial interest in the outcome of a civil case. And that would hinder it to be a qualified expert witness. I mean, it did not apply to criminal and traffic or juvenile proceedings. But basically the question is, should we have an expert witness in the case if there's a financial, if they could have a reward, right, within that. And so, again, I didn't carry the bill. It was Rep. Mellerin's bill. But, I think it's one of those things, Brian, that when it comes to the surface and we have it on record and the conversation's out there, I think for everyday people, they hear this and they're thinking, wait a minute, I'm not an attorney. I'm not in the court. And look, there are some things in there that you want to understand when I know when they're dealing with the cases, but there's a common sense approach, I think, that we're starting to have in a common sense discussion about some of the legal reform, right? It's like, it's similar to my bill last year of modified comparative fault. Hey, if you're causing these accidents, you're totally at fault. Like, should you get rewarded? Are we cutting checks to people that are doing that? And I think once you have these conversations a couple years in a row, people recognize we need to keep pushing and keep having that discussion so the public is aware of what's happening.
Talk with State Representative Emily Chenevert, and yeah, we are being, as well, I shouldn't say we, I should say y'all are being persistent in finding the little ends where we can chip away at lawsuit abuse, where we can chip away at being a judicial hellhole. Which, by the way, if you want to learn more about either one of those things, visit llaw.org. llaw.org is the home base there for Louisiana Lawsuit Abuse Watch. But while we're chipping away, it feels like Mike Tyson's Punch Out, and we're Little Mac, right? We can take a punch, but Mike Tyson squares off and hits you once and you're down again because we're digging ourselves out of such a judicial hellhole. Yeah,
no, look, and this is a business economic issue, right? When you look at, read a lot about that comes from U.S. Chamber and what we're trying to figure out what's working in some states and not. And we are doing so much great work within, LED and bringing business here. And I think that it has to be an entire state whole approach, right? We have to look at it and say, what are all the areas that continue to bring business here? Obviously insurance costs, obviously legal reform. I mean, that is a thing that businesses are going to look at. Is it fair? It's not saying, oh, we just want to be the ones that benefit, but it's creating that fair chance in the courts. And that's all we want. We just want it to be a chance where because if you've got other states where some of these issues, it's not necessarily considered a state of lawsuit abuse. And they are like, look, we could do it in Louisiana, we could do it in Texas, or we could do it in Florida, or maybe we could do it in another state. We want them to pick Louisiana. And we just want to make sure that we're doing everything we can as legislators and making sure that we are doing the right thing for business. And I think that's what a lot of us care about. And we're happy to bring the conversations. We know everyone never gets everything that we want. But to me, it's that prosperity of our state. And it's in every area, right? We're looking at how do we tweak education? Right. How do we tweak the legal climate? What are we doing? And look, so much of this discussion has been about insurance rates. And it is because that's what the people, when I was knocking doors, and still like a couple of years ago, and still it's insurance costs. Some of the things we passed the first year in my office and last year is trickling down, but people are still having rates that have not dropped in areas, especially in commercial insurance for a lot of our vehicles and those types of things. So there's more work to be done. I mean, that's what I know, and a lot of people know there's still work to be done, and I think we're focused on that. And some years I think we're going to get things through, and some years we're going to keep the conversation going, and that's about as far as we're going to get. Some years. We got
just under 2 weeks left in the set. I say just under 2 weeks. I mean, we take a 3-day holiday for Memorial Day within there. But what are you still working on that still has the potential to cross the finish line?
So I have heard my bills in committee. I had my last bill yesterday dealing with parental consent right now in law. I was changing a portion of law that allowed minors to basically be conceived or to be considered as if they were the age of majority, meaning age of majority in Louisiana is 18, that a 12-year-old could be considered as if they were the age of majority. So that was like a 12-year-old could be considered a 10-year-old. So I wanted to go in there and make sure parents consent is required in that and medical procedures or services. Okay. So that bill got out of the Senate Health and Welfare yesterday. Yeah. That's a 3-year process. Rep. Duddy Horton started it. I brought it last year, worked with all the different people at the table. Look, every bill's not perfect, but our goal is to have that age of consent up to 18. Yeah. And then, so that got out yesterday. So that's a good thing. Okay. And I have some bills to be heard on the Senate floor, probably, if not this week, beginning of next week. So it's making its way, most of them. Well, then we're going to be due up one more update as soon as the session's over with for a full recap. State Representative Emily Chenevert, glad the voice is on the mend. You sound like yourself again. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much for a couple minutes. Thank you, Brian. Appreciate it. Always. Yep. 8:15, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Quick break. We got Haggai Davison for a cup of tech gumbo next.
How are you, sir? Yeah, I didn't see you there. A third round interview. All right. How we doing? Feeling good? I bolted after my news.
Okay.
It was Charlotte Claiborne. I mean,
Yeah.
I know everything she's got to say.
Yeah. I'm sure she's really good. Plan on going back and watching.
Good morning, Brian.
Thanks so much for coming.
I love it. Give me Todd's cup of Gumbo.
Shot of gumbo.
Outside, just a teeny tiny shot.
A single serving, please.
Like when you go to Starbucks and you get a shot of espresso.
I don't go to Starbucks.
It's way overpriced. I went the other day.
I think I've been to Starbucks in 2 different airports. And unless somebody says, "Hey, meet me at," because I've had clients who want to go have a cup of coffee. It's like,
Right.
how about CC's? Oh, I really like something. Well, I don't care for Starbucks. I don't think their coffee is good to begin with.
I drink it, but it tastes burnt. For whatever reason, it tastes burnt.
I don't know. I'd rather make a cup of coffee at the house.
Right.
I mean, that's, you got a coffee pot at home instead of going and spend $7 on a cup of coffee.
Right.
Give me PJs all day long. I'll take PJs.
I love a good pizza. I wish we had more locations in town rather than downtown.
Right.
They have one in Zachary and then one downtown.
Well, Segan, right? Or is it a CC's? That's a
CC's.
Cool. Smell your scope.
I cannot stand when I taste coffee after I'm done drinking coffee.
Oh, I know.
It's a thing for me. 818 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Already cut the segment short enough here, so let's get right to it. Cup of Tech Gumbo. How are you, sir?
I'm good, Brian.
Two main topics I want to get to today because it is a shortened version, but appreciate you being able to move around a little bit.
Oh, absolutely.
I want to start off with I've been curious about, but never really asked about. Is it worth fighting back against AI? And it looks like it is.
Well, there's a lot of people who are not real happy with the way AI is evolving. There's several different factions. There's we don't want the data centers and not in our backyard. It's going to take away our resources. It's going to be ugly. It's not enough jobs to really benefit. It's going to, we're going to give away too many tax breaks. There's that faction. Then there's the other group that thinks that AI is going to take everybody's jobs. It's going to kill society. We're going to have the Terminator movie and everything because of AI. And so you're seeing a groundswell of people. I mean, at Arizona State University graduation, Tim Scott, the former CEO of Google, was giving his commencement address, and he mentioned how AI is going to revolutionize business. And the students that were graduating booed him for mentioning AI,
right?
Because they think it's going to take their jobs, and that's the wrong way to look at this, because AI is not going to take your job. The person who knows how to use AI is going to take your job,
right?
And so, I mean, you're in college for the past 2 or 3 years you've been using AI to write your term papers. You know how to use AI.
Right.
The 50 and 60-year-olds who are the older generation of these businesses who can't spell AI but know they need it, they're the ones who need these young folks to come into the business and teach us how to use AI. Bring AI into the business so we can use the tool, because AI is a tool. It's not going to replace you.
Now, that being said, there are multiple fronts in this battle. Is it possible that all the fronts can converge? And because I believe there needs to be some level of control over AI, but I don't trust anybody who would control AI. So
there's already 48 data centers in the United States that have been paused,
right,
because of protest, because of different reasons, different groups and politicians and everybody who's been rallying against these data centers. And I get that, because, you build a big auto manufacturing plant where you see the cars rolling out of that plant. You see the jobs, people going in there and building those. You don't see what comes out of a data center.
Right.
And you never know what data center you're connecting to when you're on the internet. You don't know if the data center's even in the United States that you're connecting to.
Right.
So there's no tangible with that data center. So that's why, and there's nothing taxable coming out of the data center the way the car rolling out of that data center is taxable.
Give us a minute.
Oh, I know. We talked about that last week.
Data becomes inventory.
Absolutely.
We don't get rid of.
We talked about that last week, about the that growing push to where they want to start taxing something, the digital tax, if you will. But there's just a lot of people who are, kind of they're afraid of it because they can't touch it, don't know what it is. And it's the same people who were worried and concerned about the internet 25 years ago. And we have a society, we have a tendency to grow, to make changes over a 10-year period.
Right.
We're 3 years into this. And so there's still a long ramp up to get to where everyone is really comfortable with this.
Haggai Davison, we do a cup of tech gumbo. Normally in the 6 o'clock hour, we're able to move things around and make sure we were up to speed on everything going on. Now, all that being said, what do you think is I don't want to say loudest, because that's the no data centers in my backyard argument. But what do you think is the most effective anti-AI argument that's out there?
I think it's the people who think it's going to take away their jobs.
Yeah.
It's the young people who the entry level positions.
I get their fear though. I do.
Surely, absolutely.
Because it is going to take up some jobs.
But there's enough evidence that's out there. One of the big insurance companies is actually making sure 30% of their new hires over the course of the next 12 months is entry level, because they want those skill sets who come in with artificial intelligence experience.
Yeah.
They don't want to hire that 45-year-old who doesn't know how to use AI right now. They want that 25-year-old.
Right.
Number one, it's a much less expensive to pay that entry level person as opposed to that mid level or senior level person. And so more and more businesses are looking to bring in that younger entry level position.
I'm trying to think of the right way to fit this in here. iHeartRadio, they have a whole advertising campaign now where they say we're 100% human, meaning they don't have any AI DJs.
Right.
And yet iHeartRadio has probably laid off more than anybody else when it comes to actually letting go of human resource, like when it comes to, reductions in force, when it comes to layoffs year in and year out.
They don't even have anybody in Baton Rouge, do they?
There's a handful.
Okay.
There's a handful still here.
DJs on air personality?
You know what? I don't know that. But I know that there's still
there's
folks in the building.
Some sales
Let's
people.
just say folks in the building, to be sure. But I'm talking about like on a national scale to say we're 100% human, as if like that. If you're not local, does it make a difference? If you're not here to serve the community or be employed, does it make a difference?
And that is a big thing that a lot of people are concerned about, because right now, we've said this for a long time. Anything on the internet, you have no idea if it's real. If you're looking at a video, you cannot tell if it's real. You cannot any kind of still image. You absolutely cannot tell if that's general, if it hasn't been generated by AI. So unless you see it, if you're in the room, you know it's real. Otherwise, you don't. And that's got a lot of people really scared. And that's where you're seeing the big pushback, because they're not sure what is real anymore.
Haggai Davison for a cup of tech gumbo. I want to hit one other topic, or at least try to hit one other topic here real quick. The headline reads, Microsoft admits faulty drivers were killing Windows 11 battery life for years. Ooh, this explains a lot.
Doesn't it, though? I mean, how many times have you closed your laptop and put it in your book bag, taken it home, and you're driving along and all, you hear the big hum because it's still running in the background, because the third-party drivers that software companies have sent to Microsoft and say, hey, here, go. It's just worked. It works. It's fine.
Right.
And not testing it. Well, it doesn't put the computer into that hibernation mode. And so it's still running. It's still, spinning the processor and moving data around, getting hot. The batteries are warming up,
right,
running themselves down. And Microsoft has now said, oh, yeah, about that. We made a mistake. We weren't testing all the third-party drivers. We're going to start doing that now, though.
Okay.
Yeah, you're Microsoft. You're better than that. Are
they, though?
But how many times have you heard me say that over the past 10 years of doing this with you?
Probably monthly.
It's just, I mean, you're the operating system that runs 90% of the computers out there. Do better than that. I mean, and look, part of this, now that there's the generative AI that's out there, it's easier to run this software and look for errors and have that, instead of having people actually testing it to see if it works or not. Now the software can look for the problems. But again, you're Microsoft. You run the business world, period.
Right.
Do better.
Right. Well, one would hope. While we're talking about that, can we talk about two-factor authentication?
Yes. So Microsoft has been they've been saying for almost 10 years now, they wanted to get rid of passwords. They have been trying to get rid of passwords and move to passkeys. And one of the ways they were doing that was sending out, the text message with the 6-digit code to put in. Microsoft has said they're going to stop that because it's not secure anymore. If you remember back when the Russians hacked into that Cloudflare, and they had that, one of the ways they broke into it was they were duplicating the text messaging system. The SMS is not secure, and so Microsoft is saying that's not a secure message. It's all over the dark web how to get access to that, and so if you can infiltrate that software into somebody's system, when they go to do that text messaging, it notifies the hackers as well. So they're trying to get away from sending a text message with the code. Go to the passkeys, which is much, much more secure, and get away from passwords entirely because they're entirely unsecure.
So what's the difference between a passcode or password and a passkey?
So the passkey is that authenticator that's on your phone or your biometrics, where it looks at your facial recognition or your fingerprint, any one of those types of things where it lives on the local device, doesn't live in the cloud somewhere. It's a third-party authenticator that is not a password. It's not the text messaging. And so the authentication app that you have to get into a lot of programs where it generates the local code locally for you and it syncs up with your computer, or the biometrics where it does the facial recognition.
I'll give you a great example, and it's just not from Micro, but like my DraftKings app, it reads my facial ID and then sends me a 6-digit text, and I'm like, if you can fake my face, you probably already faked my text.
And the 6-digit thing's going to go away.
Good, because it's a pain.
And it's just not secure.
And well, yeah. And there probably needs to be a reeval somewhere along the way that says what is worthy of this level of protection.
It's happening at a big level.
Full serving of Tech Gumbo Saturdays and Sundays here on Talk 107.3 FM, and of course everywhere you get your podcasts on demand. Appreciate you coming by for a later installment, but always great to have you in.
Thanks, Brian.
He is Haggai Davis to do a cup of Tech Gumbo, normally in the 6 o'clock hour every Thursday. Quick break. We come back. We're going to talk a little fishing. That's next on Talk 107.3.
my mom now. The dementia's gotten really, really bad, and it's like we moved her in beginning of March to assisted living. And now we've taken her from the level 1 to level 2, but like she's falling off the toilet. She can't even sit.
Yes. That's right. (8:36) Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. It is time to talk a little fishing. Well, in 60 seconds, it'll be time to talk a little fishing. Got to tell you about Guarantee Health Solutions. GuaranteeHealth.com is the website, a 4-pillar structure to grow your medical office. If you're in the medical field, if you work in an urgent care, if you work in just the everyday general practitioner doctor's office, how's your relationship with your patients? Could it be better? Could you utilize those relationships in order to grow your business overall? This is what they do at Guarantee Health Solutions, bridging the gap between healthcare and hospitality. An idea that was born out of experience, an idea that was born out of just learning about the transactional nature in some medical offices where there's just no bedside manner, no humanity, no love, no care. This is what the problem that was intended to fix with Guarantee Health. If you want to learn more, visit guaranteehealth.com. All right, it is time to talk a little fishing. We get caught up with CCA every so often. Micah Dineese is in with us. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well, Brian. How are you, my man?
Doing all right. All right. So the Star Tournament is
this weekend. Yep. Yeah, this Saturday, 2 days.
Okay. For those that are unfamiliar, let's start with what the tournament is and then get into what CCA does overall. So tell us what to expect from this weekend.
Yeah. So Star Tournament kicks off this Saturday across the state of Louisiana. Mm-hmm. That is our statewide anglers rodeo from Lake Charles to Venice. We've got over 28 weigh stations, over $750,000 in prizes that will be given away at the end of the year. Our tag redfish division, speckled trout, sheephead, and then we have offshore divisions as well. Our cobia, mangrove snapper, red snapper, and tuna divisions. So lots of opportunities, lots of chances, 25 divisions across the entire state of Louisiana. So it's a big one.
It is a big one. And when you total up the prize winnings, I mean, when you add up everything together, it's like $750,000 in prizes. Yep. Is that about right?
Trucks, boats, Chevy trucks. Chevy's a great partner of ours. They've been with us for a really long time. The tournament's in its 32nd year this year. So Chevy's a big partner of ours, giving away a Silverado and a Colorado this year. Avid Boats, again, one of our great partners, giving away several of their boats. Gator Tails down in Louisiana, local company, they're partnered with us as well. So lots of opportunities, we like to say life-changing opportunities for those who might not have the really nice center console, might not have a boat at all. You know, you can catch a fish from the bank and win the tournament and win a brand new boat or a truck, you know. So it's
Does that happen?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we had that happen, I think, 3 years ago. Guy caught a tag redfish from the bank, and boom, that fish got him a brand new boat. Right off the bat. Yeah.
Now, I've been to the awards where they give out all the boats.
Yep.
That's an impressive scene.
Yeah.
Y'all still do that over at Live Oak Arabian?
Yep. Yeah. Live Oak Arabian. They've been with us for a while. And yeah, I mean, it's giving away the boats to all the guys who win the tag redfish division or the speckled trout division is awesome for me. And I've just got a soft spot for kids in my heart, like giving those youth winners, those four all well John boats, like the looks on their faces when you say, hey kid, you just won a brand new boat. Like, it's incredible. It's nothing like you'll experience.
Amazing. Now, so tournament starts this weekend or coming up this weekend. Yep. Is there still room to get in?
Yeah, absolutely. So sign up today. Sign up right now if you get the opportunity to. If you're a CCA member already, it's only $35 to enter. If you're not a CCA member, we've got an option for you to register as a CCA member for the state and then sign up for the tournament as well. That's $40 for your membership, $35 for your tournament entry, so $75 overall. But absolutely, still got plenty of time to sign up. You got time to sign up after the tournament starts as well. You know, so there's plenty of chances. All of our weigh stations give you the opportunity to sign up as well there. We've got a new QR code system that is a little bit more streamlined than we've done in the past to make it a lot easier, less clicks. You just kind of scan the QR code, put in your information, put in your card info, and then check out whichever tab you want to check out, and then you're good to go for the Star Tournament.
We got Micah Dineese in with us talking CCA Star Tournament coming up. The countdown's actually on the website. 2 days, 14 hours, 49 minutes, and 44 seconds.
Yeah.
So,
give me more stress over here,
countdown.
Brian.
Exactly. So, no, but talk about the level of work that goes into this, because this doesn't just happen. Like there's a lot of logistics that go into your job.
Yeah. So I can't take really any of the credit at this point.
You take some of the credit. You have the microphone. You can take all the credit if you wanted to.
Yeah, but Rad hears this, I'll have to hear about it later. No, we've got an incredible team, and Rad's run this tournament for probably 10 plus years prior to me getting here. And we've had some other tournament directors come and go, but and we mentioned David earlier. David, a big proponent. Cresson is a big proponent of this years ago. So, we've got a good system, and now it's just kind of keeping the train on the tracks and making it a little smoother and a little bit more enticing for everybody. So, I mean, it's 5 months of 4.5 months of hard work, and then you get the rest of the year off to restart and plan it all again and work with your sponsors and go from there. So it's
Love
a lot.
That. Love that. Absolutely. All right, now let's broaden out a little bit. We might narrow back in on the back end of the conversation, but let's broaden out a little bit and talk about the mission of CCA. What y'all do when you host a tournament like this. What is used for? Like, what is your mission?
Yeah, that's a great question, Brian, and that's something that a lot of people ask us, and they're like, man, we always get it's just banquets comment. And it's like, we do so much more than just throw banquets. The money we raise at banquets goes back into our coastal restoration work. We just dropped several reefs within the past 2 months. We've got an amazing reef program led up by Colin Oob and Rad and our team over there, Mr. John Walter. So we put several reefs out. We put one out last week in Vermilion, which was an incredible reef. And they fished another reef that was already basically they added to, and they call it limits a snapper on it that weekend. So there's fish on the reefs. They're there. So we're doing a lot of work in that capacity. Along with that, we're doing a lot of work at the Capitol for sport fishermen. Just as well as I do, kind of the year we've had, and we don't have to get into the details. But,
because I'm sure Rad's listening, and I don't want to anger him.
Yeah, we're gonna leave that to Rad. But we did get 3 bills passed through the House and the Senate that were pivotal, important things for sport fishermen to be proud of. So we had a good year as far as that goes, and that's what a lot of our work helps out with. It helps out with our work on the coast. Helps out with our legislative work, helps out to, grow opportunities for sport fishermen in Louisiana.
For those that are completely unfamiliar, what's the benefit of a reef?
The benefit of the reef, and I'm not an expert, so I don't want to elaborate too much on it, but, for the most part, when it comes down to fisheries management, fisheries habitat, especially in Louisiana, where we're losing coastline and we're losing land constantly, those areas where fish can hide, survive, spawn, feed. We're losing a lot of that. So being able to go out and build reefs, whether it's our Cajun coral, whether it's our pyramid reefs, whether it's just a shoreline project that we, lay the foundation for good spawning habitat. It gives the fish an opportunity to hide. It gives them an opportunity to grow. It gives fishermen an opportunity to pinpoint where they may be at without having to search all day long and go harvest good fish.
It's just a resurgence of an ecosystem. Yeah, I mean, basically, it's just
helping to rebuild the ecosystem. 100%.
Now, when it comes down along with that, I mean, CCA it's not just the start tournament. They all are the year round looking out for this level of advocacy, whether it's at the Capitol, but it's not just in the session. It's not just with the big headline times. A lot of the work is done when nobody's looking.
Yeah. I mean, you get into this time of year where you've got legislative sessions in, and then we get the STAR, and towards the end of the year we have our different events like Legislative Rodeo, where it's a good opportunity for us to network with those legislators, including our Ride the Bull tournament down in Grand Isle. That's one of the largest kayak tournaments in the country. I think we've had up to 700 or 800 entries there. Can you imagine 700 kayaks filling and coming out of pass looking for a bull red? It's a sight to see. But besides that, all of our banquet work, we've got an amazing staff. All of our RDs at CCA work hard, and their mission is to help grow the organization, but to also help fundraise for all the things we do outside of the tournaments and legislature and all that stuff. So it's a lot. There's a lot that goes into it, but it's all work for the coast. It's all work for fishermen, and we take pride in it.
Got about 2 minutes left. Micah Dineese from CCA talking about the upcoming STAR tournament. Let's bring it back into some of the particulars of what's coming up with Star. Requirements for specifically if you're like say you're fishing off the bank, you catch a big old fish. Do you have to be registered beforehand? I mean, can you put the fish before the registration here? Like, hey, I might be in this thing when I just pulled out of the water.
Yeah, so unfortunately, no. So everybody has to, register prior to catching that fish. So we've had to disqualify several people because they'll catch a winning fish, realize that they've caught a winning fish, and then sign up after the fact.
Right.
So, the goal is, hey, register now, register early. That way you don't have to think about it. You're going to fish all summer anyway. So get it done now. And then when you catch that 8, 9, 10 inch, 10 pound, speckled trout, or you catch that tag redfish, you just haul butt to the weigh station.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to call me because my number is on the tag. And then the weigh station is going to call me. And we're either going to tell you want a truck or a boat or $5,000 tackle package or whatever it might be. But yeah, you definitely need to make sure you're registered prior to catching that fish.
How the fish are caught. Does that matter?
So we've got multiple divisions, and that's a really good question. So we've got a bank fishing division for those who don't have a boat. We've got a kayak division, and then we've got fly fishing divisions. And then for those who have access to a boat or, choose to charter, we've got our tag redfish division, speckled trout, sheephead, and then, like I said, offshore cobia, red snapper, mangrove snapper, and tuna. And look, I will make this plug. Shout out to LDWF and all the hard work that they've done, giving us that 5-person, that 5-fish limit for Memorial Day weekend. And the weather's starting to look a little bit better.
Yeah.
So look, sign up for the tournament. 5 fish, that's extra chances to potentially win that division. So shout out to those guys. Thank you for giving sport fishermen the opportunity to catch more red snapper.
He is Micah Dineese from CCA. Give us the website one more time.
Yep. Go to www.ccastar.com. Or you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, CCA Louisiana Star, CCA LA Star on Instagram. Sign up for the tournament today.
Always appreciate it, man. Thank you so much,
brother. Thank you,
some
man.
fun over this Memorial Day weekend.
Yes, sir.
This year, we're celebrating America's 250th birthday, and we want you to be a part of it. Open the Talk 1073 app, powered by Lake Urgent Care. Click the microphone icon and send us a voicemail answering one simple question. What does America mean to you? Your story could inspire others and be featured on air as we honor this historic milestone together. Keep it short, about 15, 20 seconds. Give us your name and where you're from, and send us your audio today. Let your voice be part of the overall celebration. Before we get you to your money now, I need to remind you about One Bath and Closets, ONE, spell it out, onebathandclosets.com. David Duvall, been in the business for more than 30 years. You know what else has changed over the last 30 years? Bathroom styles, trends, things that people want today are not necessarily the same things that people wanted in the early to mid 90s. Over that course of time, we've seen movement. I can attest to this because my wife and I called out David by calling 400-8005. Got him out to the house. We collaborated on what we wanted our master bathroom to look like, and we were in love with the results. And you can be too. Time for a new bathroom, time for a new closet. Have them built for you. 400-8005 or onebathandclosets.com. Coming back to close it out next.
You're the man.
Oh, not at all. I don't know why.
I'm going to say you look gassed, dog.
I am. Yeah, I don't know why. I should be. Like the last 2 nights, I've got more sleep than I've gotten in the last month.
Oh, shit.
I think I'm just overall fatigued at this point. So.
Overslept.
Yeah. Somehow.
Oh, man.
Oh,
hell, brother. I appreciate it.
No, my pleasure.
Look, yeah, definitely plan on doing ledge rodeo. That's an amazing event. And plus, it's kind of where you get that behind the scenes conversation, and we'll see who shows up this year, depending on all the all the stuff we've had.
It's totally going to depend on my daughter's basketball schedule.
Oh yeah, that's that time of year. That makes sense.
It's AAU ball's going on, and she's finishing up tryouts at St. Joseph.
Oh,
find out what team, if any, she made. Are they going to have JV and freshmen, or are they just going to have JV?
Yeah.
So we'll see if she made the cut by Friday.
Okay. Well, good luck to her.
Thank you.
Absolutely, man.
And if she didn't, then it's just AAU ball for the summer. And back to the grind of the trainer.
If she doesn't make the school team and she's playing AAU ball, something's wrong.
Well, she's playing AAU ball. She's at 14 under
Yeah.
level, so she's playing against other girls who are.
Is it slightly more competitive in that
Oh God,
when you get to that? Yeah, I
Yeah.
figured.
Yeah.
I played AAU baseball for like probably 2 years, and my mom was just like, "This is a lot." I was like, "I'm good. I'm good with it. That's fine." You know.
Well, it's really raised her level of confidence in her own game.
I'm sure.
Which is half the battle when you're trying to impress a coach of trads.
Yeah.
You know, because I mean, if you don't have that swagger, they're not going to notice you.
Yeah.
You can have all the skill set all day
Yeah.
long, but you're just one in the crowd.
Got to be able to play and move around the court like you know what you're doing.
But
100%.
yeah, I mean, she's loud, she's vocal, she's an on-court leader.
Yeah.
You know, switch, pick, you know, yelling, ball, you know, just whatever.
Good.
So, and that all comes out of really getting out of her. I mean, Catholic school.
Yeah.
You know, this is a big step out of the bubble.
Yeah. Right. 100%.
These girls curse.
Oh, welcome to the real world, sweetheart.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. They're also a step and a half faster than you, so
Yeah.
learn to adapt.
Yeah. Do something different. You know, stick
Yeah.
the leg out, whatever you got to
Yeah.
do to slow them down.
Angles. It's all about angles. So,
Oh my God.
all right, but yeah, I'll know
Thank
by
you,
Friday. So, no, my pleasure, always.
That'll work. Good luck to her. Great seeing you, dear.
Bye. Have a good weekend.
Appreciate it. Y'all too.
All right, Scotty Drake will record at 9:15. So basically, the 6 o'clock hour tomorrow, the back half of that hour will be, yeah. You know what I think it is really above anything else? I'm working out too much. I'm feeling it in my muscles. My body's physically tired. So,
And it affects your mental. Everything all plays at times.
yeah.
Well, mentally, you're on it.
Oh, mentally I'm on it. It's just a matter of like keeping the blood moving and. But if my body's physically tired, it's going to tell me it's time to nap. So. Oh, I didn't write anything down here. Done with that.
So besides me, sorry, they got wires down there just floating. I need to go down there and figure that out. Like old wires. Besides me saying the most ridiculous shit on air sometimes, I felt like I pissed you off this week. Did I piss you off? I'm just making sure we're good.
Oh, the mic's on? And I'm Yes, you're going to nuke Greenland. Nuke, as in the bomb. Yeah. Thank you. Which was why I was like, motherfucker. Is that? Yeah. So. Yeah. 856 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. I wrap it up over here like the week's done. We still got tomorrow. What the hell?
I feel like it's done.
Well,
And the
you
more
know what
you
the thing
keep
is.
talking about, there we go. The more you keep talking about tomorrow's show, I'm just like, oh, we do have to work tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, though, is we're gonna have a couple of pre-recorded interviews, which I like. Because one of them in particular, I don't mind teasing it right now. Scott Davis, author of Last of the Old Breed, an oral history of the final living Marines from World War II.
Gosh, that's
Now,
going to be so fun.
This is from the Pacific Theater, okay? So these people saw things that have never been seen before and will never be seen again. And the interview was fantastic. I was never sent the book. So I know.
But you know enough to be able to
pull
details out of
interview's already in the can. Yeah.
Woohoo.
So yeah, no, we knocked that out. But Scott Davis, great interview. Looking forward to that, especially as we head into Memorial Day weekend. And especially as we head into Memorial Day weekend, we'll talk to Scotty Drake tomorrow about little motorcycle safety, because a lot of people could be on the road.
Yep.
We heard that from Jim Ryan this morning, So hey, before we get out of here, and I'm going to try and squeeze two things in at once. Grab 4, 5, and 6 if you can. Before we get out of here, let me remind you of the folks over at ExxonMobil. Been around for 115 years right here in Baton Rouge, helping power Louisiana, and doing so safely, and doing so investing locally. Where's the future with ExxonMobil? Well, part of the future is in carbon capture and storage, and they want to do it the right way there as well. If you want to learn more about their plans with CCS, visit aboutlaccs.com. Aboutlaccs.com. ExxonMobil, progress means looking ahead, and looking ahead responsibly. We've literally got 1 minute to go here before we hand off to the Moon Griffon show. There has been a bill moving forward in the state legislature. It's a House-approved constitutional amendment that prohibits a governor from serving more than 2 consecutive terms. This is headed over to the Senate floor. Senate Governmental Affairs Committee approved the measure on a party line vote, 5-3. Democrats voting against it, which I find interesting. But New Orleans Democratic Senator Royce DePlessis, he says he's not 100% behind term limits. Cut 4.
I've always questioned whether it's truly democratic, because in essence, it does take away the ability for the people to decide.
I have to question that, though. Now, look, I understand the argument that every election is a term limit, right? If you want somebody voted out, you have election day to vote them out. But man, with our history in Louisiana, this is Mike Baham's bill. We'll get him on next week. With our history in Louisiana, ended it too, especially for that top seat. All right, we got to get Moon Griffon's next. All right, Facebook, I got to roll because I have to record one of those interviews I was just talking about. Rocco, tomorrow, 8 o'clock hour. I apologize for nothing.